it's Dave. Let me see if I can cue this up just right now. Watch this. Yes, that's Kevin Spacey. Watching Heartburn on Netflix, and that's that Washington D.C. set thing. Nora Ephron. It's got Meryl Streep. It's got a whole bunch of cool people, but it's basically the life of. I guess Jack Nicholson's playing Carl Bernstein. So there he is. Look at that. Isn't that wild? I guess that's got to be one of the first screen roles there of Kevin Spacey. There he goes, playing a kind of a punk, wearing a funny-looking jacket with blonde hair. Isn't that cool? But anyhow, what was that movie? 1986. Jack Nicholson, Jeff Daniels, Meryl Streep. She's playing Nora Ephron. He's playing Carl Bernstein, Watergate fame, I believe. Blah blah blah. That's not what they're mentioned in the movie, but that's what it is. Blah blah blah. A lot of good scenes of Washington. Great movie. Love it. I didn't realize it was on Netflix. I'd seen this years ago on some cable channel, and the other day I was saying, "Hey, I'd love to see this again. Wouldn't that be cool?" There it is. Shows up on Netflix, and I forgot there's that scene with Kevin Spacey and, of course, House of Cards and all the great stuff he's done. But that was like one of his first movie roles, so that's cool, isn't it? All right. Oh, my goodness. It's Sunday, the 30th of November, and I'm sitting here eating my Planters peanuts, and I literally almost choked on one when I saw that scene with Kevin Spacey. I went... So I had to start up a Dave TV for you guys. And the other thing I was going to write about, I'm not write about, but talk about, was something I just had to mention. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Clinton Yates, today's Washington Post, Metro section. Clinton Yates, who also, by the way, does some commentary for WTOP. Okay, I've talked to Clinton Yates on the phone. In fact, he called me about a story the other day, and didn't even use my quote, so what the hell. Anyway, time for Ben's to remove Cosby from its Mount Rushmore of half-smokes. Picture, if you go down U Street, Northwest D.C., go by Ben's Chili Bowl, there's a big picture, a mural that features Bill Cosby, okay? And he says, perhaps fittingly, we need to drop... he says they need to go and repaint the mural because Bill Cosby's been disgraced with all the allegations that he had abusive relationships with women over the years. Okay, whatever. It's like the Soviet thing where you erase people's pictures out of history books because they're disgraced. You just pretend they never existed. You just erase them. Maybe we should just erase all the Cosby shows and just write him out of history like he never existed and he has no, just pretend Bill Cosby never existed. That's what we do to people that, at one time they were popular and then something happens to them and they become disgraced or whatever. We should just erase them. Pretend they never existed. Paint over their murals. Okay, I get it. You got to write a column. His column's due. He has to write it. There you go. Okay, whatever. Now, here's what I'm going to say about Clinton, okay? This is what's bugging me, and nobody's writing about it. When you go, turn on your HD radio, and I know all 5 people in Washington have these radios, okay? Now, this one, it is so annoying, man. You gotta go like this. Bop, 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 bop. There's no keypad to enter the numbers, right? So you go up to 103.5. Finally, we made it. And you get WTOP, which is a cool station. Everybody loves WTOP. But when you go to their HD2, you get this. The Voice of Russia.
Defined by self-contradictory rules. In 1970, Mike Nichols turned Catch-22 into a movie. Some 20 years later, when he was 71, Heller wrote a sequel, Closing Time, of which he said that it was his summing up, but not his swan song. Heller didn't see his first novel fall.
Now, most people tell you, this is the voice of the Russian government, okay? It's a Russian-backed government channel, okay? It's the voice of Vlad Putin, It is. And, you read in the Washington Post and you read in other newspapers about all the crap that Russia's doing right now. They invaded parts of Ukraine. They retook the Crimea. They're threatening to invade Latvia. They're sending out warships into the Balkans and all around the English Channel, and they're doing a whole lot of crazy stuff. They shot down that Malaysian jetliner. They did a whole bunch of horrible stuff. Vladimir Putin is a terrible man. He is. He's not a nice guy. And they're expanding that old Soviet Russian expansionism stuff, and yet WTOP, they're taking money. They're taking money from the Russian government. Should a all-news station in Washington be taking money from the Russian government to put on a subchannel that's Russian propaganda in English? Should they be doing that? The Washington Post does the same thing. The Washington Post, they run that Russian propaganda insert every month, and they run a Chinese one every month. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't do that. If some foreign government, whether we are friendly or not friendly, wants to buy advertising in an American media outlet, I guess, the American media outlet should have the freedom to do that. I'm not saying that there should be a law that WTOP can't, get paid cash by the Russian government to do that, to run a subchannel. But at the same time, do people really know what, does Clinton Yates know what his employer, the Washington Post, is doing? He's getting all upset about a picture of Bill Cosby on a mural. Maybe he ought to write a little thing about, hey, maybe my radio station, maybe Chris Core should do this too. Chris Core, what is core values? Maybe Chris Core should say, one of his core values, maybe it's not right for my radio station to be taking money from the Russian government to run Putin's propaganda here in Washington, Radio Russia used to be on 1390 on an AM station. It was a multicultural, I think they owned them. But the state, you can't even hear 1390 anymore. They lost their transmitter site to a housing development. Now they're broadcasting from a little dinkwat signal over in Maryland. Nobody can hear them. And it's now back to Spanish again. So you still hear, and who's listening to Radio Russia? You can get, RT on your cable TV, and it's broadcast in the Washington area on WNVC, channel 30. So, yeah, that's another Russian propaganda channel. And, I watch it, and it's kind of interesting. It's got Larry King on it and stuff like that, It's an interesting little channel, and I guess it's worth watching just to see what the Russians are saying. But at the same time, you got to say, is it right for WTOP? Is it right for them to be, broadcasting Russian propaganda? I don't know. Is that their place, I'd say if you have an HD radio and you got it tuned to 103.5, instead of listening to Radio Russia, let's turn this thing back on, crank it back up. Instead of listening to Radio Russia, maybe, come on, linking. Instead of listening to Radio Russia, flip it up to The Gamut. And we're currently playing the Flesh Tones. Now that's what WTOP should be playing. Not Radio Russia, The Gamut. The Gamut. You can also hear The Gamut on 8:20 a.m. in the western suburbs and on WTOP's HD3 on 103.5. I believe it's also on 107.7. I'm not sure if it's on 103.9. But and you can. And they also have an FM signal out of Leesburg on 104.3. I think they're supposed to be moving that to 104.5. So maybe we'll see. All right, so that's my rant for today. That's my Dave TV on the Sunday, the 30th of November, 2014. Exhausting. I love it. There's a movie, what is it? Woody Allen's Bananas. I think it's Woody Allen's Bananas where Woody comes back to New York and he's running around the city of Central Park, where he's on the subway train and a bunch of toughies come to beat him up, and one of them is a very, very young Sylvester Stallone. I love finding movies. There's another Woody Allen movie Well, there's a lot of actors made their first debut appearances in Woody Allen movies. So, anyway, that's cool. All right, folks, thanks for watching Dave TV and during my rant. Radio Russia, does it belong on WTOP's HD2? I don't know. Core value, Chris Core. How about tackling that one, huh? All right, 10 minutes. Gotta go. Bye.